Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from our comfy couch here in the outskirts. And it's the Gaming Saloon Reviews for March 29th, 2026 with your SP Speaker 2448 and Ramp It Up Salon.
Hi.
It's more Kyoryuger. We get another Ranger this week.
For all of about 2 episodes.
And then he fucks off with Ramirez. Except Ramirez gets to show up in another episode only to cause a problem. But it's not necessarily his fault.
Yeah.
It's 17 through 20. I was trying to think of something else to talk about, but I was like, you know, Zets isn't really doing a whole lot at the moment.
I haven't watched this week's yet, so.
Yeah, I watched it and I was like, this is like basically a part 1 of 2. So see you next week. I didn't even watch Gavin Infinity for the week, and apparently it was like a really good episode. And I was like, we'll see about that. I guess any thoughts going into it?
No.
All right, we'll kick things off with episode 17 then. So Serious Kyoryuger. So our team is fighting a bunch of the mooks, only to find out that they are stronger than normal. And once they defeat them, they're tired because, oh no, new goon or new monster. It's the meteor monster. To round out the meteor monster, the ice age monster, and the virus monster that they've already fought as the 3 things that took out the dinosaurs, except in monster form. That's when Turtle Gray shows up to be like, you're getting a training arc this week. And he does this by sucking all 5 of their souls into his little like Zen garden playset that he has. And then 4 of them get hit with a specific effect, while Daigo gets hit with all of them because he's got to be extra on his training. Gold doesn't have to go through this training because he figured out that he has to power up first and then hit the monsters in order to do damage. I love that was just the lesson this week. We have to power up first and then hit them.
Yeah.
But Daigo apparently passes first before everyone else passes. And then they go and fight the meteor monster. And everyone is successful except Daigo. Because, oops, Daigo didn't really figure out the lesson. Because, oops, man has no weakness, cannot grow anymore. According to Gray, get the fuck off the team. Because after the rest of the team beats back the meteor monster and the goons and stuff, he basically goes to Daigo's like, you can't grow anymore. You don't need to be leader of this team. Gold needs to be leader of the team. That's how you're going to get Bunpaki. Bye. And that's basically episode 17. I love how it's like, we get a new ranger and there's not a whole lot going on. So 18 Kung Fu finishing strike. Daigo's in the hospital for a hot minute, and then he's out fighting Gray and taking a hit from him because Gray's like, you want to learn to be better? Come meet me at the Forest of Illusions. Bye. So Daigo gets stuck in the forest, dealing with illusions as he tries to figure out why can't I get stronger? Turns out the lesson is all right, I have people I have to, like, I care about now, even because I've been on my own for so long. So that's how I get stronger, is caring about them. We did get Daigo's dad for a little bit, even though it's in illusion form. That's important for the back half. Yeah, it seems Go's trying to find Daigo while Gold tries to hold off the monster. Daigo gets better, fights Gray for a minute, proves that he's gotten stronger. That leads to basically Gray going like, all right, you're good. Go fight the monster. And then they go fight the monster, beat it. It gets bigger. They get Bunpaki. We get Kyoryuger Kung Fu. They blow up the monster. And Gray goes and talks to Cyan. And it's like, well, we're going to go find Brachiosaurus because Blazon's covered. And that's our 2 episodes. So how you feel about them?
Meh.
Fair. Like, I do kind of like that they kind of acknowledge it's like, yeah, Daigo doesn't have any real obvious weaknesses, but that also means he doesn't have room to grow until he's basically bonked on the head and told, hey, dumbass, you're in charge of the team. That's your concern. Also, Gray is like Cyan. He's a ghost because he's from 1500 years ago in China. Otherwise, there's not much else to him. Also, I don't know why Ankidong and Trikera are the only 2 that are a part of official Kyoryuger combinations. Or the only 2 that are a part of 2 different Kyoryuger combinations, I'll say.
Yeah, never really thought about that.
Because Pink's a part of base Kyoryuger and Macho, and then Ankidong's a part of Macho and Kung Fu. And I'm like, what about the other 3? Did you not think of anything for the other 3? But yeah, that's basically it for the first half. Anything else before we hit the back end? The far less interesting back end?
Yeah.
All right, then episode 19, Kawaii's Stolen Family. Did this episode annoy you?
Kind of, but I also ended up tuning out.
Fair. So basically, this episode is Uchi dealing with some spoiled brat because a monster that has a cute form and then a monster form is basically stealing parents from spoiled kids. And so Uchi's having to deal with spoiled kid the entire episode. The only good bit about this is when the monster tries to like fool the team by turning into its cute form after fighting Gold. And everyone is like, oh, look at the cute little guy, except for Daigo, who just immediately charges his gun and shoots it. And it's just like, you do realize you transformed in front of us, right? I think the only downside is people use that against Daigo. It's like, oh, look, everyone had to be the butt of a joke for that. And I'm like, yeah, and? It was a funny joke. Like, somebody had to do it. But yeah, basically the team figures out how to beat up Uchi, like, convinces the little kid to stand up for himself and do his own thing. And that helps him beat up the monster, and they blow it up, and then they blow it up when it gets big. And that's basically the episode. I'll be honest, it's probably the episode I've liked the least so far in this entire show. Because it is very much here's a random kid that's just is the focus of the episode because he just happens to be nearby. Episode 20?
Yeah.
All right, Lucky Tamata's Windfall. So it's a wish granting, or it's a wish holiday in Japan. Kyoryugers and No-san's family are doing up their wishes. Only it turns out that the paper they did on their wishes is from a monster. And if their wish comes true, it steals their life force. And then if it becomes, as soon as it's like sunrise the next day, they'll die. And unfortunately, this has also happened to a whole lot of people in town. The good news is only Ami, Saji, and Ian got their wishes fulfilled. Daigo didn't write down a wish. And hopefully No-san and Uchi don't have their wishes granted. Only when they are discussing this, Uchi's wish gets granted. So now it's down to Daigo and No-san. I also kind of appreciate the monster went, I just have to wait y'all out and then y'all die. So I'm gonna fucking timer scam y'all. Bye. I kind of appreciate that the monster realizes it's like, yeah, I don't have to fight you. I just have to timer scan you. So fuck you, bye. Like, he makes the mistake of staying in town instead of, like, I don't know, going back to their base, which the Kyoryugers don't know where is and probably don't have the means to get to start with. But we wouldn't have a plot if he did that. But yeah, No-san gets whammied, so now it's down to Daigo. He uses No-san's wish to find the monster, tries to fight him. But since it's him, Lucky Roo, and Canderilla, Daigo gets beaten. He still tries to fight the monster, even though he's solo still. They probably should have called in Ramirez and Gray, since Ramirez also showed up and got Uchi's wish granted, but I guess they're busy. Or Torin could have got in here and, like, joined the almost dying crew in order to help. But thankfully, Daigo's dad shows up and literally just tells the monster, grit your teeth because I'm going to punch the shit out of you, and then punches the shit out of the monster. And that lets Daigo break the container for the wishes, so everybody's saved, and then they beat up the monster. Blow it up. But then Daigo's dad gives Torin a bag of, I'm just going to tell you it's a bag of fossils, because what the fuck else would it be? Yeah. And Daigo recognizes that it looks like the bag his dad had and is like, oh, that doesn't seem plot relevant. Oh, well. Just keeps that to himself and doesn't say anything. He doesn't even tell the team that that was his dad that he was talking to, because everyone else just shows up, see him talking to some rando person while the monster's writhing on the ground after getting the shit kicked out of him. And they're like, what the hell happened? We were dying until now. Daigo, what happened? Who's the old man? You think Daigo would tell him? It's like, oh yeah, that was my dad. He punched the shit out of the monster and saved us. But yeah, that's basically the episode. Any other thoughts?
No.
Yeah, we're unfortunately in that middle territory of Sentai where it's like, well, it's one-off character episodes that just don't have a whole lot going on in it. Like, in 2 episodes, we get Playzon's debut, and that has stuff. But like I said, that's 2 episodes, because next week we're covering 2 Kyoryuger movies. We're going to cover the summer film and the Go Busters Kyoryuger crossover. Just because they're not that long and we might as well cover them together. Are you excited to see the Go Busters again?
I know how these crossover movies go, so meh.
I was more expecting you to be like, we watched the Go Busters?
No, I remember it.
Okay. I was figuring you didn't because it's been so long since we did.
Yeah, but when it's a good show, I mean.
Well, I also have bad news because that it is not just a Kyoryuger Go Busters crossover. It is a crossover with the other two Dinosaur Sentai teams because guess what's not a very popular Sentai show?
Yep.
Guess what they decided to prop up the crossover with?
Yep.
So, yeah, bad news. Guess who's getting the short end on that crossover next week? Because I'm just going to spoil it now. It's going to be the Go Busters. They are going to get the short end of the stick. But I guess anything else?
No.
All right, then. So next week it is Gabricho music and whatever the name of the crossover film is, I don't remember and I don't feel like looking it up. Also, if you're wondering why we're covering the movies, well, we have to cover Gabricho music because it's actually plot relevant for an episode we'll get to, hopefully. And it's not long enough for a normal episode, so we're throwing in the crossover. If the summer movie was not plot relevant in any capacity, we would be skipping it. Because trust me, crossover movie's not plot relevant. But yeah, that'll be in 2 weeks. But between now and then, Thursday I'm doing Cat. Friday we should be back to Crystal Chronicles for Tales of a Cube, and Saturday we'll be continuing the Seed.
Should be.
And then next Sunday will be TGS. We get to talk about Epic being shitheads
Again.
Yep. And Sony going, hey, would you like $1,000 PlayStation 6? Because we're gonna threaten you with that. Just straight up, we are going to threaten you with the idea of a PlayStation 6. I'm like, that is not a good thing. Yeah, in 2 weeks we'll be covering the 2 Kyoryuger movies we're covering. So if you like what you see, folks, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Exclamation point YouTube chat gets YouTube archive for this and all our streams. Exclamation point social and chat gets handles for our social media, so you know we're live. Exclamation point just in our chat. This one, drop by, say hi. See you Thursday, folks.